Hello and welcome to something a little different today. So we've got a Warno 3v3 on one of the new maps. I can't remember the name. It might be Azura, it might not. Um, and they've put the time limit on infinite, and they've put the conquest score on 4,000 points. So we'll go through the deck reviews because that covers, the kind of general strategy when playing under these settings. Obviously, this isn't what usually happens. And then we'll talk about the map, the matchup, the deployments, and the game. And as always, timestamps in the description. Right, so these are the deck reviews for the game. The game is played with unlimited time, which is actually quite a common thing in lobby games. So unlimited time, and the victory points are like twice as high. So the way you build your deck has to change to reflect that. Generally, people downvet everything because, well, if the time's unlimited, if you bring everything at one vet, then when it gets, 60 minutes, you're not actually going to be able to buy anything anymore. So it'd take too long to go through every single deck, right? But you can see the general principle. So this is red 4, and they've brought lots of supply, because of course you would. The game's going to take an infinite amount of time. This player could do with bringing some more supply and some mortars for smoke. I've noticed there aren't any mortars for smoke here, although this is interesting. And then, yeah, they've got 2 fobs on PACT. Honestly, I'd go for 3. And then, this should be a grad, basically. 3, 4, 5. I'm looking at the CVs. 6, 7. Everything's down vetted. I would prefer these over the regular T80 BVs. They are a lot better because they go faster. And, you only lose 1 availability to get the vet up to 1. So, they're definitely worth it. Don't know about that. If you want Razred could be MP2s, really. And then 8 cubs is kind of silly, really. You don't need 8 cubs. But it's because this is a 1-point slot, right? Yeah, if you get rid of 4 of your cubs, then you could get... I mean, it's hard to know what to do in this situation, because obviously this is not... Obviously it's your copy of the game, right? But this is not really the way the game is supposed to be played. But if you are going to do it like this, I would recommend... I would recommend getting that third card of supply, and it should be a fob, really. So, that's a 3-pointer, and so it would have to... And these are all 1-pointers, so it would have to be a plane, really, wouldn't it? But yeah, it's nice to have all this, but if you've got 8 cubs, you're going to be doing a lot of defending. This thing isn't that great. You bring it to shoot down helicopters, basically. So you could get rid of this, because I think a lot of these plane trips are going to be one-way trips once the whole AA net gets built up. If you're playing a mega long game, you can't really use your planes past the first few minutes. The alternative would be to get rid of some infantry. But yeah, then you can get a fob, and that's going to help you a lot more. No mortars for smoke is a real shame. So I would do it like that. Personally, I would leave the lobby if there wasn't a time limit. But we are where we are. This div is just not very good. I was completely wrong in my first read of this div. It's just not very good. One thing that is really not very good is this. It is terrible. It is terrible. So, you'd rather have 2 Malkas. You only need 1 set of mortars for smoke, but I guess it's the case that this is a 1-pointer and you don't know where else to put your stuff. So it can be cool to get a supply helo to bring stuff to and from the fob to near the front line. And you can also help your teammates out with your supply helo, bringing stuff to and from the fob, and then these take it the rest of the way. In a 1v1, it's not a good idea, but in a team game, big team game like this, it makes a lot of sense. Yeah. And then the 4th Mott player, Snowy. So I personally would prefer two cards of these rather than, you know, two cards of these. Got the fob. Double RM70, you will run out. Even with all this, you will eventually run out of supply. Well, I suppose there's a lot of supply there. And then, like, I would bring this in an SPW70 because I think it's good. But what you really want is Mark Schutzen SVD because they're a lot better because of the SVD. They do a lot more damage against infantry. Pioneers, I would not be bringing in the MTLB. Generally, I mean, if this was like a regular time game, you know, you wouldn't need as many infantry, and they should all be at one vet. This is something I don't really like, but whatever, it can work. But it is not a regular game. It's a crazy game, and so they've edited their decks to suit that, which is fair enough, really. Like, fourth mark you can build it as an air spam division, but there's no point if you're having a 60-minute game or, what, an infinite length game. On NATO, MBAD is not a good pick for an infinite length game. These two divs are. But you want something like first UK, fourth Dutch, fifth Panzer, even third Armoured. But like MBAD it's an early game div. 17Y isn't a good pick just because it's a bad div. I was just wrong. It's just not a good div. 157Y is better if you want to play it. But yeah, MBAD it's meant for like a 20-minute game. If there's no time limit, you don't want to be playing MBAD. So that should be something else. It could be like if you want something like wheeled and slow and stuff, fast and stuff like 9th motorized. But generally, you want medium/heavy tank div, so 8th was a good idea, and 2nd Panzergren was a good idea. I wouldn't bother with the Lars, it is really bad. I would just get 2 of these, and you want mortars for smoke, really. They're very, very useful. I'm not sure where you would fit them in. You don't need 12 Gepards. There you go. So now you can get your mortars for smoke, and what do you know, you can have your Lars if you want it. I guess that's the only 1-point slot. Oh, well, I don't know what's going on here. You can definitely get some tornadoes out. Well, there you go. Ta-da. But yeah, I wouldn't be picking MBAD in this kind of situation because it just... I mean, I've not seen the game, but I know what's going to happen. It's going to get to about 30 minutes and this play is going to become useless because, like, what the hell could he do in a mega late game? And then if you're playing in the mega late game, then you want heavy tanks, really, so you don't want 10 million mediums. So there you go, something more like that. And like that should just be in a wheeled transport. I'm surprised by these Hilo ones. I mean, this got a bit cheaper. Where's the Fallschirmjäger? Okay, Fallschirmjäger's here, Milan's there. Yeah, I wouldn't be bringing... what are these, like 3-point slots? Okay. This is better. Yeah, I mean, this is just such a bad vehicle. It's really not great. And then, you know, you look at this squad and for this 5 points more, you get one more guy and a better, you know, and a better, better AT. So the Pioneer's better and it comes in a better transport. The Fox. Yeah, you want the Fox. It's really nice whenever you can get it. So there you go. Everything's at no vet. I mean, so there's 2 ways to think about this. One is infinite length game, make sure you can still buy stuff. And the other is, if you bring everything at 1 vet, then you should just absolutely roll whoever's got no vet, and then he shouldn't be able to get back up again. But going for the no vet spam is definitely the safer option of those 2. Bringing the Pioneer at 1 vet is probably a good idea because it's not going to be useful without it, the veterancy. But yeah, I wouldn't be picking MBAD at all because, like, you know, I'm going to buy 805mm howitzers. We'll see how much those do. Yeah, this thing is trash. So you want two of those instead. And I like the M60s for the start of the game, you know. You'll notice he's brought them at one vet, which is okay. I mean, we'll see. If you can keep them alive, they'll do a lot of work. I'd be thinking like Recon Helo here, you know, or 3 more Bradleys for the mega late game. We'll see if the air pays off. Like, you might want 4 fighters on this div. It's kind of hard to play without them, because if your tanks get killed, then you're going to have a really bad time. Yeah, so sorry it's a bit of a weird deck review, but it's a bit of a weird game. So there's a limit to how much I can say, right? Because I don't play infinite length games. Like I said, there's 2 ways of going about it. One is just vet your stuff normally and just try and win, because if your enemy hasn't, then you're going to win in the first, like, 40 minutes, probably. And the other one is, okay, this game's going to go mega late, stock up on all the supply, get all the fobs, and see what happens. So, let's see what happens. Gosh, what a joke. Right, so with that out of the way, as you know from what I just said, the time's infinite. So most of them have gone for this approach of just bring everything at no vet, because the game's going to last a long time, get loads of fobs, get loads of supply cards, because the game's going to last a long time. So on Blue Fort, one of the players has gone MBad, which is not going to work if the game goes late, right? Because, well, he's just going to run out of stuff before everybody else. His late game options aren't very good. So this was not really a great pick. If you're going for that strategy, the alternative strategy, as we sort of briefly mentioned in the deck review, is just, well, okay, just try and win early. You can still do that if everybody's playing for a late game and they're all going to open fob and they're all going to down vet all their stuff. Then you can just play normally, and you should absolutely roll them in the first 40 minutes if you're all on the same page. But they're not, basically, because one of them's gone airborne. The 8th player, IS7M, has brought his tanks at 1 vet, whereas everybody else has brought them at no vet. But then Spill R's here has brought their tanks at no vet. So there's sort of like a mixed bag here, whereas on Red 4 they basically all had the same idea, which is just down vet everything. 17Y is not a great div at all. I thought it was good, and then I played it a bunch, and it turns out, no, 157Y is a lot better, because actually it has the better tanks, even though it... Yeah, it's a bit of a weird one. But yeah, we'll see what happens. I mean, the later this game goes, the less powerful Blue's going to be. So that's the thought process here. In terms of the deployment, so we've got the MBad player here, and they're opening with a bunch of forward deployed stuff. Not sure why they're putting somebody in here, but alright, and that's not been given a fast move order, so that's just going to slowly go through the forest as opposed to using this road here. So that's going to get there really slowly. And this guy is also like, why are they so defensive? You know, you could, if you use the fast move orders, you could get him to like here. You could basically just take this at the start, but he's not doing that. I suppose one of them is going there. This is really weird. And then a few go into the far left. This is in the water. I mean, it is technically amphibious, but why? Go faster to where it's going if you use the land. Yeah, very interesting deployment. Then we've got Spill R's here. So everybody's kind of everywhere. Yeah, so then the 2nd Panzergren and the 8th player have sort of... I'm trying to figure out what's going on here. Okay, so the MBAD player has given some forward deployed units to their team to help them out a bit, which makes sense. But like, you got to use the fast move order, otherwise you're just going to get there really, really slowly. Look, this is 90 kilometers an hour on the road, and it's 60 off road. So if you don't use the fast move order, you're just going to get there much more slowly, and that means you can't get as far forwards. and that means you don't get as much space as you should be getting. And if you don't know where the enemy deployment's going to meet you, then you use a recon helo ahead of it, because like this could probably get up to here if it was done properly, or at least up to here. So yeah, it's a bit of a weird one. And then we've got 2nd Panzergren in the middle, which, I mean, okay. I mean, the whole map's kind of the same. There's not really an open side and a closed side, so I was thinking, yeah, I guess it doesn't really matter where you put them all. They brought the Lars too, which you'll see how good that is. And they have airborne forward deployment as well. So this is the main advantage that Blue 4 has. All their guys have airborne forward deployment, and one of them's airborne. 79Y gets a little bit, 4th gets a nice amount, and 17Y gets none. So they should be stronger at the start. So I'm surprised that they're, because basically, look, if you look at the map, you got to draw a line down the middle. This is the enemy zone, this is your zone. You start further forwards. Why are you just going to your own zone? These could easily get up to here, and secure a lot of space. But I guess they're playing for the late game. They want to play super conservatively because they know the game's going to go on for ages. But then if they've done that, then why is one of them playing airball? So it's a bit of a disconnect there. And then, yeah, I've not found the 8th player yet. I suppose it's mainly like Rangers and okay, so some stuff on the right. So yeah, mainly stuff on the right, but also stuff on the left. So generally, I mean, lane brain is not great. Teams that coordinate better will do better. But you should basically have most of your guys on one side, because otherwise, if you're here, then you're not really going to be looking at what's going on over there, and you'll lose your guys. So generally, you want to kind of focus on an area, and you could say, okay, I won't put much here, and we'll both try and rush Fedor at the start, or something like that. But still, you don't want to have like some guys here, and then some guys on the exact opposite side of the map. Unless you really have to, if the enemy's breaking through, yeah, you go help your team. But otherwise, like, it's just going to cut down on your ability to control all your units, and you're going to lose stuff. You're going to make more mistakes. But yeah, you should still coordinate. Switching to their opponent's deployment, we've got more of a sort of typical deployment, right? Where it's like one person on the right, one person in the mid, one person on the left. Yeah, so for starters, these shouldn't be crossing over, right? This would get to there faster than this would. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, this is the 17Y player, and they're trying to use these motorized Rozvedka to grab ground, but their opponents aren't using their advantage at the start. They're not, like, because this is the midpoint, apparently. And this is the midpoint. And they're not really going for it. They're just sort of sitting on their side. So that means the primary disadvantage of the 17Y player at the start of the game will be not so much of a disadvantage. But yeah, a bunch of T-64Rs. I mean, these are sort of... They're just not very good. Don't even want to look at them. Then we've got Lin H, 79Y. So, one forward unit. These guys in the MI2s, but they're going to the same place. So that's weird. Typically, you want to have a spread on the front line. And then a bunch of BMP2s, TO55s. They're all at Novet, but the BRDM2's buffing them up. Which is a good way of doing things, actually. If it sticks with them. And then a bunch more BMPs, TO55s. Very defensive deployment. And we've got a bit more of an aggressive deployment from the 4th player. So this is good. They're taking advantage of their forward deployment. But through sheer bad luck or whatever, this is also where the MBAD player is. So they're going to run into each other quite early. So yeah, a bunch of infantry, CV, a bunch of SPG-9 teams, which I don't really think are that great, but okay. Guys on the far right, make sure nobody breaks through. PRDM2 Conquers and a couple tanks. So yeah, it's certainly an interest. Obviously, I think this is a No, so, somebody has sent me a game without a time limit before. But yeah, you got to think about it differently. You either just play it normally and then try and win in rational time and take advantage of the fact that your enemy might not be playing normally and will just run out, they'll just have no vet stuff. Or you just try and take it hyper late. So yeah, let's see what happens. Right, so they're off, and it's time to thank the generous channel joiners, generously joining the channel. They get their names on the screen, they get their videos early. They get members exclusive videos. One join at the lowest levels with 2,000 views, so if you're feeling bad about your ad block, you can drive through somebody's garden instead of using the roads and knock down all their fence panels. Otherwise, please like the videos, they're free. So, Pathfinder's really nice squad, and it looks like they come at 2 vet by default, so they've not got much of a choice here. So look, they're meeting each other. Will they unload in time? Like, this should have just immediately, because I don't think that's going to be able to land without dying. No, they're not noticing. They're just walking past each other here. Driving past each other. The Pathfinders unload first, so they're going to get some kills. The Avklarler did actually manage to drop. This needs to stand up, otherwise the SPG-9 is going to one-shot it. And you see these... yeah, lots of red dying here, mainly because I don't think they clocked that the Pathfinders had made it in here first. This has smoke, so you can smoke, and oh, there you go, just like that. Incredible. So currently a +2 for red. Otherwise, so that's why the 8th players had so little stuff. They'd actually opened with 2 planes. I'm not sure what they got, sorry. I do see a flaming wreck of something here. Looks like a Mi-8 rocket plane, so there you go, that's a good kill. And yeah, nobody's gone for Boris yet. Bit static on this front. Meanwhile, there's a big fight going on over here. The Rangers Dragon not going to win against 2 T-55s. But because they're at no vet, right? Being at no vet is a huge disadvantage. It takes you 7 minutes for your cohesion to go from nothing back up to full at no vet. At 1 vet, it takes 3. So the units are literally half as good if they're getting shot at. And so if you blob them too much, right, the cohesion, you'll notice they've both taken cohesion damage, even though this is the only one that's been shot, and that's because it's got a splash on it. So you might be like, okay, low cohesion, who cares, as long as you don't rout. So if it reduces your accuracy by 75%, that already means that your DPS is 1/4 what it should be. Now, that's not the only malice. It also makes you reload longer as well, right? So it's getting this cohesion back. So it's got less than 1/4 its DPS, because it's also the reload time. And so if that goes down by half, you're looking at more like 1/8 its original DPS when it's on low cohesion. So it's really not great. And that's the disadvantage with bringing stuff on Novet. And some things have auto loaders like these T-64Rs here, but it will still be 1/4 because the accuracy is still 75% lower. Do you see what I mean? So yeah, once you drop something out of a Blackhawk, you can use it to sort of scout and shoot, but once you take 1 hit with a manpad, you want to get it back, because the second one will kill you, obviously. That guy was showing his side armor, so he died. If they had reversed this way, instead of trying to move regularly this way, then they wouldn't have died there. But it does happen. So, over here, this is the main zone of contention. Looks like Red not really trying for Boris there, just sort of sitting there and letting it happen. Like, these could have been moved up to here, right? Just see what's going on. You've got a rocket thingy. Oh, the A-10's back. It's over here is where most of the fighting's happening. The Pathfinders have ran out of laws, so it looks like Red's going to take this because there's nothing here that can kill these T-55s. What you can do, right, when you buy a unit, you click up here, you click the unit, then you click Y on your keyboard, and then you click where you're going. And then it will unload automatically once it gets there. OSA gets rid of that A-10. But they did lose one guy in the transport, so they lost the BMP-1 on speak, so they lost 80 points there. And yeah, you see the Pathfinders are dying because nothing can kill this. I suppose this is shooting. If it gets a side shot, it'll kill it. But it's only got 45%. It's only got 40% accuracy, so. And it misses, so you know, which you'd expect to happen. 6 times out of 10. So it's like there's an attempt to, because yeah, it looks like blue beat red here. I mean, most of red stuff sort of died here, and then it was still going down this road, and so I'm not, because the SPG-9s, I'm not sure what happened to all of those. I'm not seeing any burning craters, so I think they all died here because they were trying to get to here, so they probably used this road, and the Pathfinders got them. So there you go, infantry's awakening, and the Sultan is not amphibious. This has a Milan on it, and you'll note that this only has 41% accuracy because of the cohesion. Yeah, those March to War M113s are not. That's what MTW probably doesn't stand for. So there you go, the Strela 10M, pretty good against helos, outranges Apaches, and that wasn't an Apache. This is on fast move, so it's going to show its side armor there and take massive damage, which is a big shame. And it's also on Novet. It does have a higher base fire rate than the T-55, so it does get the second shot off there. So this thing is really bad, because, I mean, okay, got that unit, great. It takes 3 minutes to aim and shoot, and it's only got 16 tubes. Whereas if you look at like a regular grad, which I don't think has been bought yet, it reloads faster even though it's got 40 tubes. So basically this thing reloads too slowly to be useful, and it doesn't pack enough of a punch, and the dispersion circle's quite big. So yeah, I don't like it. I think 2 Malkas would be a much better shout. Or you just start buying those ISU 152s, and because I think there's 6 of those in that deck from what I remember, and then they can you know, get stuff done. So looks like auto cover's not on here. I have mine on by default, but then I constantly switch it off on all my units, so you know. Anyway, Sultan's been spotted, and looks like that tick blue's got, because they have Boris, is gonna be undone. So as you can see, it's not very good, is it? And part of that is the oh, this is also very bad. But it's not as bad as this, because not only does it deal more HE and it has more range, it's got 12 rockets, and it reloads a little bit more slowly, but the rockets do, you know, basically twice the damage, and the range means that the dispersion circle's quite tight. But this is also still bad. If you want, you don't really want to play Spanish in an infinite length game, but they have the best MLRS on NATO. Or you can play Third Armored, and you can get the Cluster one, or you can play 5th Panzer, also a great sort of infinite length game div because it gets so many Leopard 2s. And you can get the Mars, which is the Cluster one. Or you can play 1st UK, which probably less good an idea, but you can get a lot of tanks. And that was a side shot. These will survive front shots. But it looks like the overall kind of strategy of just have infinite tanks and, you know, who cares, seems to be working. But yeah, good flanking fire here from Spillars, because, again, good side shots from both angles. And Couch, there's no smoke on these tanks. So, that's interesting. Here you go, RM70. 80, it fires 40 at once, but it reloads a lot faster than this thing. It's just not very good, sadly. In general, RT in this game's a bit weird. So, that was a good volley. Gets a lot of stuff on the road there. Lots of Leopard 1s. Looks like some Gurkha rifles died over here, so looks like Snowy's managed to push back this flank. Blue has the advantage at the moment in terms of points. More side shots there. This has a Carl Gustav on it. And, yeah, so you got to use these 105s and these cluster things. Mbad was just not a good pick here, basically. Infinite length game and so on. So this is trying to turn. That's another thing low cohesion does. It makes you turn slower. And it did turn in time, so it got side shot there. It looked like it had, but must have been a side shot, otherwise it wouldn't have died. Unless... yeah, that was the back of the tank. It got rear shot. It was facing away. Okay, well, so it was actually turning the wrong way. Okay. I thought that would automatically turn to face, but if they'd given it a move order to come back here, then I guess that's what would happen. Generally, you want to reverse away from the ATGM that's shooting at you. So, this is the issue with zero veterancy. That this thing is just not going to be able to shoot. These guys have 2 vet. So even though, you know, usually 2 of these should kill one of those. If these are at 1 vet, then I don't think it would get stunned on every shot, basically. I might be wrong there. Also, like, if both of them had been shooting. So, over here, Glorified Couch with the Reservisti spam. These are nice units. You get quite a lot of them as well. Don't think you get an infantry ATGM on this div, so it's hard to put Conkers in here and kill these guys, so it's difficult to know what to do about that. And, yeah, I still rate, even though Blue's winning, I still rate Red's chances more, just because of the... I don't think the MBAD pick was a... Like, because the whole idea behind the MBAD pick is that you would get this and hold on to it at the start, but that didn't happen, so it's already sort of been nullified, the advantage, and now the disadvantages are kicking in, and you can see, well, the RM70 is killing all that, and what are these 105s doing, you know? Precious little, because they aren't very good. 105 artillery is pretty weak in this game. So that Conkers might go down, but even then, you know, landed right next to it, did less than 1 damage. They are pretty close, so the dispersion should be pretty small. Usually people move out of the way, but okay, this is moving. But yeah, look what's happening here. Anyway, Blue losing a lot of units basically everywhere. You see the 2nd Panzergrenadier players trying to take Leonid as well. So that was cool. Actual counter battery coming in. Basically, you know, whenever you fire your artillery, and you see, because this has such great range, the dispersion circle's pretty tight. So that's actually a huge kill in an infinite length game. Killing an enemy MLRS is a pretty big deal. But basically, you click your MLRS or any RT, and you know, hold shift, right click, and then come back here. With shift still press F, and then right click. And then it will automatically shoot and then move, because that wouldn't have died otherwise, basically. So the last 2, I wanted to show you how utterly dreadful these are. So there you go. This man is on 2 HP. And he's still on 2 HP. Basically, the idea behind them is that you can use them in pairs and shoot both of them. The disadvantage is this takes ages to fire, so this is one that is actually quite easy to counter battery. But it reloads nice and quick. But yeah, this is one of the ones which is actually quite easy to counter battery, because it fires so slowly. It's just stood there for like half a minute firing. And so... if anybody's paying attention, they can counter battery that, right? Because this aims for 26 seconds, for example. Yeah, generally they don't do a lot, so you want to bring them in as close as possible and use 2 of them and then hit the area. But generally people just see them as a waste of supply. They aren't that great. So the main advantage of the M113A1G is that it has smoke, which means you can survive conkers and stuff. That could just obliterate it itself. Yeah, here's the impact of the missile. Does happen sometimes, very sad. And yeah, here comes the RM70 on this big blob, presumably. Be foolish not to shoot that. And yeah, it's on one of the blobs. Because actually the 8th player's here as well, so all 3 players are here. And I suppose this is Snowy and Lynn H. In the meantime, these tanks keep driving over this field and getting side shot. The strikers can pour out a lot of rounds. They don't have great accuracy at all, but they can pour out quite a lot of rounds quite quickly because it has a salvo length of 5, so it doesn't have to reload until it's fired 5. And yeah, that's not ideal. Generally, you know, you want you don't want to be firing across the enemy like this because look, they're all getting side shot, and you want some AA, right? Can't remember what they get. So this guy hasn't been deployed yet, hasn't been unveiled. I don't know if he was paying enough attention to see these reservisti come through. Typically, you want to buy a more kind of combined arms thing. You know, one of one thing, one of something else, as opposed to I'll buy 5, 6, 7 tanks, and then buy 5, 6, 7 infantry. All my tanks are dead. Now I've got to buy 5, 6, 7 tanks, right? Infantry still showing up. Infantry shows up. Tanks aren't there anymore. Now I've got to buy the infantry again. So it's easier to just buy things a couple at a time. I don't always follow that rule, but it does work. You can also put CVs next to your artillery to make them fire faster, but you do actually have to use them for that to happen. You know, if you were to hypothetically spend 4 minutes income on artillery and then not fire it, that would be very bad. Because your enemy, if they would hypothetically chose to buy 4 minutes of front line, then you would have a very bad time. Completely hypothetically. So yeah, we got some reserved T-80 BVs here. Generally, you know, you want stuff sort of near the front line so it can fight. But yeah, this is just a case of like big open field. Very few people have brought smoke mortars, and so they're just running across a big open field, and red is already there, so pretty good gig for red. You see blue's lost a lot of units. And the power of those 105s will eventually kill stuff. Like, they're not completely useless. Oh no, those are M109s. Those are the good ones. So these are a lot better than this. And it's not just because of the HE, it's because of the splash radius. So Lars 2 coming in here. And you see its main effect is suppressive, right? It's lowering the cohesions. It's not really doing a huge amount of damage, but it's doing a bit. The main effect is it lowers the cohesion, which if it makes your units shoot way slower, then you know, if it makes your units do 1/8 of their original damage, then lowering somebody's cohesion during a fight is a pretty useful thing to do. So I have seen people use the Lars 2 in that way, just to, not to kill anything, but just, okay, there's a fight happening. Because this thing, it aims quite fast. It takes ages to get all the rounds off, but it aims quite fast. And the enemy's not just going to sit in it, they're going to move. Wow, is that smoke? Crazy. What a crazy world. Anyway, so this needs to get in there now. No AA is really weird, right? Because they get Eyehawks, so... and Eyehawks would one-shot this, but I suppose they're relying mainly on the fighters and the dark fire. So... Cub hits the F-16 there. This is dead now, because the Shilker will kill it. So yeah, the Cub-Shilker combo is quite potent, but ever since Cubs went to 4 per card, it's basically been generally seen that just the Cub-Cub combo is a lot better. Just have 2 Cubs. Then you can shoot from much further away. Not sure what's going on there. So they'll have snuck through, and then so this is your auto cell can give you away, right? Because now they know you're there. Because where all these cars come from? They must have come from over here somewhere. So now they know you're there. Also, there needs to be a bit more AA in that, I should think. Maybe a few more infantry ATGMs or something. So they're moving now, I guess. And yeah, they're almost in there. They just gotta actually get in there. Right, you know, send the support. Don't let these 2 just die by themselves. get the CV in, you know, that sort of thing. Get this in there. It would be all good. Clear this out, you know, use the artillery. There's always targets for the artillery. They're trying to oh, I see, they've spotted the fob. So, yeah, this paid off. Good work from the MGood player. I mean, that's how you're supposed to use them, really. The artillery there got taken out. And you see they're not selling their helos, which is pretty smart, actually, because then you can use them to scout and stuff. So, air cab trooper's probably not going to make it. This needs to hide behind this building. It's not quite behind it, so... Okay, now it needs to move away from the bombs. Okay. But this one got in and capped it, so... this could unload here or it's going to die. Big sad. Anyway, the Lars... And you see this guy has 2 HP. Mr. Mertin there. So we'll see what this Lars does to that guy with his 2 HP. He's in the circle. Still on 2 HP for now. Let's go check over here. But yeah, blue's on a +4 now, so it's going well for blue. A lot of that is like, so, you know, all these, they're still not fired. Because they've got full ammo, and there's no supply near them, so here you go, they're firing now, or at least 2 of them are. But the other 2 are still in, like, what? If you buy artillery, you basically want it to be firing all the time, because otherwise you wasted your money. So here you go, double Lars. Are they firing from next to the fob, or... I think he's firing from just near it. Anyway... Blue really needs to, like, massively reinforce this and get loads of people in. Imagine if all this crap here, instead of just randomly trying to walk through the forest, was here. They would own this zone. They would own all this. And so, you know, there's advantage to sending a couple units around the side, but if you're going to invest several minutes income into sending stuff around the side, it's got to be worth it. You've got to have an objective in mind. So... For example, if it was over here somehow, obviously that's not really the way the map's working, then you use them to cut the reinforcements and then you get a zone out of it. So you don't just send it for the sake of sending it, right? So the idea here could be, so this is the reinforcement road, so if you can cut this, then you can take this zone. That's the idea. You don't just send stuff, because that would have been imagine if that big blob was just, like, all those units were just here. Well, this would all be taken. Red wouldn't be back in this zone, and blue would still be on +4, so... It's a big shame, really. Obviously, this is a meme game with meme settings, so you can sort of do what you want, but if you want to win, you know, we have to assume that everybody here sort of wants to win. So, look out that recon helo, probably going to die for it, actually. I'm not sure that was really very worth it. Because, yeah, this is just going to sit there and shoot him, so... Evac'd over it, so could have come over here and evac'd and probably would have made it, or over here and evac'd. But, yeah, it's a great way to bait people, actually. Just have a helo with a bunch of AA in front of it, and people always go for it. Even at, like, the top level, people still go for it. So, it's a big shame, really, that blue sort of, and, like, these could unload here, you know. It's a big shame, really. M1A1, so this is big. Could win a lot of fights. The Lars... I mean, that sharpshooter made it, by the way. They have 1 HP. So this is the blue capper attack. MLRS most likely going on the corner where the CV is. No, it's going for the attack. Okay, well that's fair enough. So these need to get out of the zone. What you can do is load them back up and move them forwards, because that might be faster. And also it stops these from losing their cohesion, I'm pretty sure. I might be wrong, actually. That was a good bomb run. Okay, I thought it was here. It got the CV, I guess, but if it was here, it would have killed all that, so... It wasn't as good as I thought it was. The MGood F-16As... Actually, no, that's the 8th US ones. It's a big loss, that. So, like, this is where everything's happening. This is just, like... nothing's really going on over here except the Great War Cry. It's just a shame, really. I mean, you know, like similarly, the 17Y player could have, like, you know, these units, they're not doing anything. Are those tanks still there? No, they've been moved up. So you can just send them over, you know? Like, these two have just been sat here for ages. They're full everything. This fight's been happening for about 10 minutes, and these two have just been here on this reverse side of the forest, not doing anything. So it's a shame, really, because if they'd been helping, you know... Here we go, so the MBad player's shown up. Although they take... I don't know why they're doing that. They could just get straight in here. Don't know why they're doing that. Just taking the long route for no reason. But yeah, it seems nobody in this game knows about the trick with the... Oh, well, no, never mind. This person does. Snowy here must be a Hippie YouTube channel watcher. Yeah, if you buy... And look, the artillery. Wow, we have an MVP here. So, yeah, that's exactly what I was describing before. So, first of all, you put it on a hotkey. So, I use Control 4. So, you just select them both, Control 4, and then next time you press 4, it'll select them. And if you double press, it'll go to it. But you only need to, you know, because if you're looking at something, you want to select your arty and call it in without having to get over here, come back over here, right? And so, yeah, you hit your hotkey, hold Shift, T, and then click, or just right-click. And then you do have to come over here. Shift, F, move, and then you can just queue them up. And then these... Oh, they cancelled it. But, you know, you saw before it was move, shoot, move, shoot, move, shoot. Now it's just shoot, sadly, but it is what it is. There's an urgent fire request, I suppose. So... Yeah, these cohesion nukes are pretty effective when everything's at no vet, actually, because it's gonna take ages to get its cohesion back. That's the main disadvantage of the no vet. And so cohesion nuking, as it is known. So so he doesn't really play so much anymore, which is a shame. He got a life, I guess, called Lathan's, and he will just buy a bunch of 81mm mortars and just use them to HE spam, just to lower people's cohesion, because he knows the effect it has on the damage. I prefer to use them for smoke, and so if I use them for HE, it's going to get counter-batteried, and, you know, if they're self-propelled and you don't have anything better to do with them, you might as well use them, but there's like a lot of units just not being used. Like, how long have these been here for? If you got a unit, you want to use it. It's the economists call it opportunity cost. Even when you're winning, you're losing. This is why they're all so miserable. The idea is that if you buy something or whatever, then you could have bought something else. And so whatever you didn't buy, that's the opportunity cost, right? Because, you know, you could have used it. They usually use it for money, right? Because they use money to make more money. I'm surprised that didn't die, actually. It doesn't have great east... Oh, it's 30%. Yeah. Can't remember what I was saying now. So if you buy a unit, it's not doing anything, then, well, you could have bought something that would do something, right? And there's a cost associated with that. If your enemy buys something and they're using it, then they're going to win. And then there's this other thing about, like, combined arms, right? So just buying 10 infantry and running them in, it's not great. You want to use the tanks with it, you want to use the recon with it, you want to use the artillery with it, so like you would smoke here, because these, look how much damage these are doing. With their 10 rate of fire and their 9 rate of fire, just killing everybody. Everybody's dead. Whereas if you had smoked here, they wouldn't have shot you. And then you can take all this, and then you smoke here, and then you can take the next bit, you know, that sort of thing. So that's the best part of Warno, I suppose, the fact that you can always improve, right? So, got some counter battery coming on these tanks here. And these Acacias are now firing. Hooray. So that'll be their second... Look, they're moving. Crazy, crazy world. Anyway, this, you don't have to worry about this. You just do Shift F and click on one of the Acacias, and it'll just follow the Acacia around forever. Okay, so this spawn has been camped now. I'm not sure anything's been purchased there yet. No, because nobody's fired around. But yeah, they should have bought some supply, I think. So Shadowhunter's like, wow, look, I did it, guys. And in the meantime, you know. But yeah, the idea is you cut this off so that you can do something with it. Otherwise, it doesn't really matter, right? So I'm not sure how these ended up, like if maybe they'd just been purchased and then what, or they came back. But yeah, okay, so they are actually doing it. They are actually, so they've realised, okay, well this is cut off, so now we can try and take this zone. So that, okay, great. So that is it serving its intended purpose. You might want to deploy these helos now and use them to scout everything so you can see what's there. And then then your A10 can shoot everything because the helo will spot it. Gurkha's trying to get in here. And Blue's back to winning. But like I said, it's an infinite length game, and if you'll notice, they've made it so that the victory condition is 4,000 points, not 2,000. So, I don't know if everybody was on board with this strategy. Don't know if everybody was on board with these settings, but yeah, just sort of running all the infantry in the open and dying is obviously very bad. You don't want to do that. Yeah. Using planes in team games, generally not great, mate. Killing the fog was pretty huge. Still nothing's been bought here. I'm not sure where Glorified Couch is spending their income. So, they're not there anymore, right? But they are all dead anyway. And, yeah, the 105s are firing. Wow, they might actually get a kill. Oh, there's two guys in there. It's just, it's not displaying it properly. I was like, how did it fire twice? Didn't do a whole lot, like, but... Okay, so big attack coming in here. And there you go. Yeah, so that they had a plan. And the plan was put them all here, and then attack. And it is working. Honestly, though, if you brought this many people, you should buy a supply. Oh, that's a shame. One of them left. Well, I mean... They're winning. Alright. Because it's not like in Red Dragon, or... whatever, Broken Arrow, where you take control of the enemy's units, you get their income. In this, the AI takes over, and the AI is retarded, so that's a big shame, actually. Because, I mean, Blue was actually winning. I'm not sure how, but and it's a shame it was the 8th player as well. If it was the MBad player, well then that's, that's not such a big... Although these would start spazzing out. They would immediately start going everywhere. They wouldn't stay there. But yeah, because, yeah, look, the esteemed AI is like, you know what, I actually just want a bunch of stingers here. Big sad. Oh, there you go. Tanks have been purchased. Oh no, look at that. That's hilarious. They just tried to buy like 12 T-64Rs. They've run out of ammo! Oh my god, they've run out. So that must have been the strategy. I won't buy anything for a few minutes and then I'll buy all these and they'll run out of ammo, and well, it's worked. Because, yeah, the only person with ammo left is this, and this is trying to drop bombs there, but it has to turn around. So these guys, they should all be running away, really. I wouldn't just stand there, but this is what I meant about bringing a supply. A bit of friendly fire there, but I guess the tanks can take it. That was very funny. But yes, I mean, it's a big shame the 8th player left, because, well, if it's an infinite length game, then I mean, it's pretty obvious what's going to happen now, right? If you need 4,000 points to win, and it's now a 2v3, and one of you is MBad, well, I mean, it's not looking great for the boys in blue. All the tanks died. It must have been the bombers. And, like, one of them still had ammo, right? Yeah, this one. Might have fired a couple more times. But yeah, I mean, if they should have brought a supply, really. If they were going to do that. Just looking for the... Because if the AI takes over on the 8th player, look, it's like redeploying all its tanks and stuff. They're all just going all the way across the map. But it's weird that it just really wants to buy stingers for some reason. So what happened to those stingers that were here? I mean, it is used... Like, why is its arty there? It is actually coordinating a bit. Like, it's going where the fight is. I mean, the way it attacks is a bit weird, but they're actually on a +6. They would win in 9 minutes. Maybe they've got a chance. Maybe they can still win. But I mean, if these people here woke up and just clicked Q and clicked over here, they would take it. So but yeah, now you gotta do some spreading out, right? Get these AT guys, great. Put one in each building, and then they're not getting through here again, are they? Put one over here. Put one over here. Don't blob, because then you all get hit by the MLRS. So, and look, shoot, move. Wow, incredible gameplay. What you can do actually is give it the shift fast move order onto the fob, and then move it out, and it will automatically resupply on the fob. I'm pretty sure that's how it works. I mean, because I've got the muscle memory, I can't describe it properly. I'm pretty sure that's how it works. It will automatically supply on the fob, and then move away from the fob to be ready for the next fire mission. Anyway, Motschutson... I think most of them are going to get out of dodge there. But yeah, they're losing a lot of cohesion. Pirate Commando's going down there. Very close range hate. Oh, okay, it's actually AI moment. It must have spotted these guys there or something and thought, oh, okay. So yeah, the Chaparral getting shot at by 2 AKs. It's probably going to be okay. Gurkha T groups coming in now. Gotta say, I got a lot of respect for this MBAD player. They've actually managed to accomplish quite a lot, despite the fact that they're playing MBAD. Although they need to wake up a bit and, start moving these maybe. Start selling these maybe. Right, so 100 points they could sell there. Okay. It's like Red will oblige them and just run in. Now you got to move the Eyehawk, because that's people like. It says this is only 3 per card, and it's not self-propelled. I don't understand why the Cubs went to 4 per card personally. They should have been 3. Well, they were 3, and it was fine at 3. So big shame. Anyway, these are great to counter battery. Oh look, they're moving it. So yeah, trying to arty the Cubs, but they have moved as well. And they're self-propelled, so they move a little faster. So 6 minutes for blue. Can they do it? I mean, this is the AI CV, so it's actually trying to go over here. So they need... And that's another AI CV. This is a player CV, so they can get this one in. But they got the enemy CV tank, because it was showing its side armor, but... And this is at 2 vet now, which is pretty powerful. Lots of reservisti here. So 5 minutes, can they do it? Oh, I mean, the horde is coming in. Yeah, I'd be deploying all these helos and stuff, right? I mean, firing everything, trying to get everything doing stuff. There's a lot of guys here. I'm not sure why these precious mortars are here instead of where they could be used, which is actually where they used to be. RM70 going on the CV, you'll probably get it. And you see that? It's got a heli being shot down icon there. Lots of blue deaths. Are they all here, or stuff's happening over here as well? Wow, somebody fired smoke. Incredible gameplay. HE trying to hit those guys, but they've moved. So these leopards aren't actually in range to shoot. They need to go forwards a little bit. And like this TOW 2, just been sat there all game, you know, move this one up. Get some side shots going on. Because yeah, if they take this, it's only a +2. M1A1 went down because it got shot from 2 different angles. Another CV coming in. The Lars are firing. But now with only a +2, it's going to be like 12 minutes until the game ends. So 13 minutes. Yeah, it's just a shame the 8th player left, I think. Because, like, you know, that M1A1 just sort of driving over there and dying, well, that wouldn't be happening. And all these guys just sort of, like, going all over. They are still attacking, which is nice, but the way that, like, why is this in here? And then again, his opponent is just letting this walk through and just kill them all in their vehicles. It's not ideal. So this M1A1 has killed so many reservisti here because they were all in their vehicles and they just didn't unload, and the AI is an absolute mad lad. Look at that. CV's coming back this way now. Who knows who makes these decisions, but anyway, Paras with Law 80s here, but they're all in one building, right? You want them spread out along this tree line. TOW 2's getting an interesting side shot. Kind of, the AI is really interesting the way it plays, because like, this is AI, and this is AI, so they are actually attacking from two... Like, is it doing that on purpose, or is it just... But then, like, what's the thought process behind this? I guess they wanted to go there to attack this zone, and then it was like, this area is unsafe, retreating. But, yeah, these two are still sat around 12 minutes now, though, so it's not ideal. It's not ideal, but those T-80BVs got pushed back. There's an M109 here. An AI M109 on the enemy side of the map. Aiming for the Shilka, roughly. And yeah, the Leopard 105s, they've shot so many people, they've started updating from the... if you take enough damage or deal enough damage, you level up, you get XP. It's really hard to do, actually. You need like a lot. To go from 2 to 3 vet is almost impossible. You need like 6 to 12 times the value of your unit, something like that. So you'll see for Fliegerfaust kills a jet, it tends to rank up pretty fast. Because it's done off the value of the unit. So, they're on fast move. So they're just gonna, okay, unload in one spot and get hit by MLRS again. It's very sad. Look, I mean, this is why you don't just put them all in one place, right? You spread out and attack over a wide area. You know, there should be some fire support mixed in there. These tanks weren't even engaged in that fight. They're not even unloaded, so they're all gonna die in their vehicles now. This is so sad. Can we hit 50 likes? Is he gonna notice? Oh, my face is in the way, actually. You can't see it. This is so sad. Alright, they all survived for some reason. Cluster plane coming in. This is the AI. The AI has spotted these 6 ISU-152s. Oh, I just... It only gets one of them. Or maybe... No, it didn't. It's because this routed. You can't select it when it's routed. Didn't get any of them. But the advantage behind this is it reloads once per minute. So look at this AI gameplay, man. Look how aggressively it's playing. I'm intimidated. The AI is... It's one of the stronger players in this game. So yeah, 105's on the Tunguska, probably not gonna do anything. It's got one top armor anyway. But yeah, look at this. The AI, it's advanced down here, and now it's actually going for the spawn. Like, it knows to do that. It's brought up some Eyehawks. It's brought up some AA. It's actually engaging the enemy. It's spreading its guys out. It's not leaving a bunch of stuff at the back not doing anything. Although I suppose this is here. And this is here. And this is here. Incredible AI gameplay. And then, yeah, it looks like somebody's not been spending their income. So we got a bunch of tanks now. Yeah, combined arms thing again. I think I've said it enough times. Alright, looks like we really want to look at this, apparently. They're saying you should probably unload this, most likely. Yeah, so this is now going to try and unload in the trees, and that's obviously not going to work, because it can't land in the trees. These are just, like, what the fuck is this, man? Just unload them. What the hell are you doing? And so now it will say, okay, I can't unload there, now I'll go somewhere else. So all that costs time, right? You should have just unloaded it on the spot, really. But otherwise, you know. So, this thing is trying to fast move into the zone. There is no enemy CV there, so it will actually get in, but it will probably just immediately die. Tried to smoke, but... And those have been sat there so long that this has managed to reload. So they've been there for more than 2 minutes in their transports not doing anything. It's very sad, you hate to see it. It's actually incredible how much work the AI is getting done here. It's actually advancing, although it seems to be turning around now. Is blue gonna win? Like, it's only 3 minutes now. I suppose this can get in, and then it'll go back to 6, but... There's a big use of smoke there. But yeah, you just gotta unload, man. If they unloaded, all these would die. Because they all have lore 80s, but... They're not... This is really weird. Are they actually doing anything? Yeah, because this has come out. I'm lost for words, honestly. Is this... Because if these guys get through, well then... Game's not going to end, right? Because... This CV could get to there. And then... and then it could take that. And then it would be +1 to red. And then I'm going to be here for another 2 hours. Please unload your transports. What the fuck is this? Things are actually happening over here, though. I mean, the AI might take another zone. The AI might get a later. This is crazy. The the AI has done so much work this game. It's unreal. I was completely wrong in my take, or whatever you want to call it. But, like, what's going on? It's like they're not in the game anymore. The AI is the only one really doing anything. Although I suppose this is the second Pentagram player. Yeah, the second the MGood player, I don't know, have they gone AFK? We saw the Buccaneer, so... Because, yeah, now this needs to go to the... They've only got 3 minutes, they need to get that CV moved up. Because if they get in here, well then it stops, right? The tick would stop. But then the AI is getting over to Elena. Right, this is crazy. Like, these guys could go anywhere. They could take any zone, basically. Especially if blue's not really reacting. I'm not really sure what's going on. Like, they're not doing anything. They're just letting it happen. Have they not noticed? It's like they're not here. So maybe they aren't here. I mean, that's entirely... But they're still moving stuff over here. So they're so intent on looking at this that they don't care to reinforce their own zone. It's like these are just firing because they were already there. And they're getting, I mean, they are TOW2 launchers. This is the AI. This CV isn't moving up though, right? You could stop the tick if you move the CV up, and like all this, like what's it? What do you need it for? They're buying another CV, okay. But then Blue's taken this one. The AI has taken this one, and it's cutting off the spawn. Look, these are they on reverse orders? They're on very far reverse orders. Should be all right. Some infantry here. 1 minute left. I mean, what a bizarre game. My read on it was completely wrong when I was like, oh no, the AI's taking over, they're going to lose. No, no. The AI was better than everybody else. Bit of a weird one. But it's because it doesn't, even though it's inefficient in what it doesn't have a lot of waste. And so if you've got players who just leave stuff lying around everywhere, which we see a lot of in this game, lots of units just sat around not really doing anything, the AI will immediately tell them to all go do something. And so even though the AI is like very inefficient in what it's doing, at least it's doing something, right? Even then it still has some waste here, but like it's just grabbed its blob and dragged it over to here, which at this point it helps, right? It's just on the... Yes, I believe it probably thinks end of the replay. Oh yeah, I remember this. So they sent me the they sent me the thing separately. Uh, so here you go. This is the end game screen. So the fourth play was pretty good actually. Still like buying. You don't want to buy 5 tanks and then buy 5 infantry. It's really hard to break out of that. Shame I wanted to check their ranks, but it is end of replay, so we cannot. Yeah, I mean the AI of Doom getting all the conquest points, taking all the caps. I'm really surprised Blue won that. I figured it would be pretty easy for Red to sweep through, but they just couldn't make it. I don't know. I wanted to check how many games everybody had, but I guess that I'm gonna have to leave that one up to your imagination. So I hope you enjoyed that game. Like I said, something a bit different. You wouldn't catch me dead playing a game without a time limit. And I'll see you around, GG.